We are giving a random budget to every single League 1 team, starting with Paris FC. Let's see what Paris FC gets from the wheel of budgets, and they land on 120 million, but only for one player. And if we look at their team, they could use a lot of improvements in a lot of positions. But the player that they've gone with for $120 million is Bruno Fernandes. He's obviously an outstanding player, but also a good captain to get. So that's actually very smart from Paris, and he goes in right at the center of the team. But wait a minute, do you need some cheap coins for the new FC26? Well, look no further, because here at Top Up Live, you can get cheap and reliable coins for the new game. And if you use my discount code FARDEN, then you get 12% off on top of that. Link is in the description. But that's how it'll work. We will be spinning the wheel of budget for every single League 1 club. But there is a twist. Among all the budgets are 3 negative budgets, which basically means that a team will have to sell for that amount. So in the end, we could see teams getting improved a lot, and some teams getting destroyed. And then we'll simulate a season to see what it has done to the League 1 table. But let's just spin for the next club and see what we get. And we've landed on Monaco this time. Now let's spin the wheel of budget for them. And they only get 25 million for one player. Not even that many positions for them to improve on. So Monaco has gone ahead and signed Munoz for 25 million. A decent right back, which does improve the team a little. So it's not the worst for Monaco. At least they didn't get punished. Let's spin again and see which club we get now. And this time the wheel lands on Toulouse. Let's spin for their budget. And they get 95 million for one player. They could use a better left midfielder, so let's see what they will get. And for that price, they've brought in Alex Baena. This is a big signing for Toulouse. He might not be the highest rated, but he has good potential, and he definitely does make the team look good. Back to the wheel we go, and now we land on OGC Nice, spinning for their budget now. And they get 250 million for 4 players. That's a lot of money, but also a lot of players to sign. So 4 players they can get to improve their team. Let's see what they do. They've spent 70 million on Moise Kean, 65 million on Christian Pulisic, 55 million on Heung-min Son, and the final 60 million was used on Araujo. Overall, Nice did very well here across all positions. They could also be a top 4 contender now maybe. Let's just spin the wheel of budget again, and the wheel lands on Le Havre, now spinning for their budget, and they get 150 million for 2 players. So their team could use a better goalkeeper, and then maybe a better center mid. So let's see what they get. They've used 40 million on Ederson, which leaves them with 110 million for Frenkie de Jong. That's a massive midfielder signing, one of the best midfielders in the world. But that will definitely help Le Havre, both defensively, but also in the midfield. Spinning the wheel of clubs again, and it lands on Auxerre this time. Let's see their budget, and they get 15 million for one player. And we all know the only player we can get for 15 million. And that's of course my boy Benzi. Karim the Dream with some cream going into the team so he can make them extreme. Yeah, Auxerre with a legendary signing here. Let's just spin the wheel again, and we land on FC Nantes. Let's see what they get. And budget spin gives them 6.7 million for one player. They have around 6 to 7 options, but they've decided to bring in Marquinhos for 6 to 7 million. That might be smart, because then they're taking a player from PSG. Anyways, back to the wheel we go now. And now we get FC Metz, and budget spin gives them 10 million for one player. Only 10 million. Not a lot they can get for 10 million. But they've signed Sommer for 10 million, which is actually really good. He makes the team look so much better, yet he's only costed them 10 million. That's actually insane. Spin again and again, and wow. It lands on Angers now. Now let's spin for their random budget and see what they get. And no way they get 500 million for 5 players. That's massive. That's on average 100 million per player. Almost half of their team is getting upgrades. So let's just see what they do. First player that they've signed is Oblak for 70 million. Then it's Van Dijk for 80 million. Gravenberch for the midfield for 90 million. Gakpo for 80, which means they have 180 million left to spend on one signing. And they spend it all on Alexander Isak. That's 4 Liverpool players they signed, but still very good, especially with Isak. So Angers has gone from small club to title challenger instantly. Half of their team is Liverpool now, so maybe that'll help. But let's keep going and spin yet again. The wheel lands on Marseille this time, spinning for their budget, and they get 250 million for one player. That's insane. So they almost get 1 free pick to get anyone they want in the world. And they've gone for Jude Bellingham. He's probably the best midfielder on the whole game. And he's also young, which is just even better, so that's an insanely strong signing for them. They did a very good job here. But now back to the wheel we go, and it lands on Strasbourg. Let's check their budget and see what they get. They get 100 million for 3 players. 3 players and only 100 million. Let's see who they sign. And they've signed Emiliano Martinez for 30 million first of all. Then they've gone with Santiago Jimenez for 35. And last one is Leon Goretzka for 35. 3 very decent signings overall. They didn't have the biggest of budgets, but they did pretty well with the money they had. Spinning the wheel wheel of clubs again, and it lands on Lyon this time. What will the wheel of budget give them? And, oh no, a team has finally landed on a punishment, and that will be Lyon. They will have to sell 2 players worth a combined total of 110 million, so they've had to sell Fofana for 60 and Tolisso for 50. It's not the worst, but they did get hurt even if it was a little, but that's our first punish them. Let's just spin again, and we now land on Rennes. Spinning for their budget to see what they get, and damn, oh damn, they get 750 million for 6 players. That's insane. Straight up ridiculous. That's 750 million they get to spend on 6 players. Basically half of their team can get upgraded, so let's just see who they upgraded. First player that they've brought is Kobel for 100, then it's Jonathan Tah for 100 million, Rudiger for 50, Bremer for 80, Gyökeres for 170, so that means they have 200 million left to spend, and they use it all on Julian Alvarez. Incredible talent, and an incredible striker to get. Bro, take a look at that Rennes defense and attack. They won't concede any goals anymore, and they will score a lot. Literally the perfect combo, but they are definitely a title contender now. Let's just spin again, and we land on Stade Brest. What do they get from the wheel? And budget spin gives them the second punishment of the video so far, which means they had to sell their most valuable player, which is my cheeky. Not quite worth 50 million, but it's their most valuable player. But that is their goalkeeper gone, so it will still hurt a lot. Now we spin again and land on FC Lorient. They will need something big from the wheel, and they get 55 million for 2 players. That's not big at all. What can they even do with that? Let's just see. They've gone with Rafa for 30, and then also Al Dawsari for 20. Okay, little upgrades for Lorient, but it's not going to help them that much. Back to the wheel we go again. Only 3 teams left, and now we finally land on PSG. There are 2 budgets and 1 punishment left on the wheel. What will they be getting? And oh no, they get the last punishment, which is minus 150 million on 3 players in total. Let's see who they'll lose. First player they lose is Chevalier for 65, Zaire Emery for 55, and Gonzalo Ramos for 30. They're still an incredible team, but they have lost their starting goalkeeper, which will hurt the most, but I think they'll still do amazingly. Let's spin the wheel again, and we now land on RC Lens. 2 budgets left. What do they get? And they get 350 million for 3 players. That's a decent one to get. Let's see what they will sign. They've signed Alisson for 80, then Saliba for 140 million, and last is actually Mac Allister for 130. Pretty decent from RC Lens, I would say. A lot of Liverpool players getting signed, but yeah, that's very good. But that now means we have 1 club left, which is, of course, Lille. And the final budget on the wheel is 400 million for 2 signings. Only 2 players they can get. It will be 2 incredible players. So let's see what they sign. They've signed Alessandro Bastoni for 130, so that leaves them with 270 million, and they get Erling Haaland for that money. The Norwegian goal-scoring Viking. Absolutely amazing from Lille. They might actually challenge PSG now, but that's now all 18 teams done. We've seen a few crazy signings such as De Jong to Le Havre, Isak to Angers, Bellingham to Marseille, Julian Alvarez to Stade Rennes, and even Haaland to Lille. And the 3 teams that ended up getting punished were Lyon, Stade Brest, and also PSG. So now all that's left to do is to simulate a season in the Ligue 1 and see what it has done to the table. So, we've now reached the end of the season. Wait, you still haven't subscribed? You know I will find you tonight if you don't subscribe. So subscribe before it's too late. Anyways, let's first see some player stats. Bellingham was the top assister, and the top goal scorer was actually Julian Alvarez. Moise Kean and Isak also did good. Anyways, the 3 relegated teams were Lorient Auxerre and also Le Havre. Stade Brest could only get 13th as the first punished team, and then Lyon got 12th. We have Toulouse at 11th, and Monaco only got 10th. Bruno Fernandes got Paris to 9th, and in 8th we have Lille. RC Lens got 7th, and OGC Nice got 6th. Strasbourg in 5th, and Angers is the first team in the top 4 with their 500 million. 750 million got Stade Rennes to 3rd, and in 2nd we have Marseille, which means the winner is still PSG. PSG still farming the Ligue 1 as always. Anyways, what should I do next?